Path of Exile, the first one, Secrets of the Atlas.
Hi,
Jonathan,
I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games.
get my notes ready.
Today we're here to showcase a new expansion for PoE 1. It's certainly been too long since we had one of these.
True.
Now we had some struggles as a studio for a little while there, but we've got our shit together and we're back in action now.
Oh my god, swearing.
Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas is coming out 1 week from now on the 13th of June.
You know he's reading that.
And we're committing right now
The word
to a
shit
4-month
is
cycle
written.
for both PoE 1 and 2. That means the next PoE 2
part of the
league will be in
script.
August, and the next PoE 1 league after that will be in October.
August.
Twitch drops are enabled on
Damn,
today's
that's
live stream,
far. Holy
so you'll be
shit.
able to claim your Skull of Undeath helmet skin by following the instructions below.
August for Path of Exile
This Skull of
2.
Undeath will track and show your total number of kills, deaths, and your KDR.
Well, that's
Just because
pretty
Path of Exile isn't a
cool.
first-person shooter doesn't mean this isn't important. Proudly or shamefully, link it to your friends or on
Very
global chat
nice.
to show it off. And with that, let's get to why you're here. Secrets of the Atlas.
August, Path of Exile 2.
You can search 1,000 worlds and still never truly discover who you are. Trust me. I should know. But now,
Who's this guy?
I seek something more tangible.
Oh, look at those graphics. Yo, I haven't played Path of Exile
Someone I
1
care for. Trapped within
since
the
Path of
Atlas.
Exile 2.
Reliving memories
Hey, isn't that what's her face doing?
made real. What have you done? Made grotesque.
Just like
Made
that.
foul. These manifestations must be destroyed.
Man, those kills, holy crap.
Their threads must be eradicated. I must
New
have
bosses?
answers.
I don't even remember what this game is like.
We must find the originator. We must save my sister.
Xana, right? Xana, what was her name? And that was her father. Same color of hair, pretty much. Oh man, Cyclone, how much I miss it. Crafting. Ooh, King's March. That's what I'm missing from Path of Exile 2, man, no joke.
Drink deep the waters.
Betrayal got reworked?
You're either a client or a target.
What is this?
Job's done.
Oh, the UI looks so different. What was that?
Your
Damn.
sanity is not
I'm like a
promised
bit
to you
jealous how
here.
much content Path of Exile 1 has over 2. Fuck.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. As you just saw from the trailer, there's a lot to show you. Today, we will take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas in-game update. Then, we'll explore the new Challenge League, the Mercenaries of Trathus.
Okay.
After that, we'll cover the integration of
Oh,
Gold
right, you
into
also get a
PoE
league. I
1
thought this was the
and
league.
how we're bringing
Oh,
Settlers
okay.
of Calgar into the core
I get
game.
it. We also get a league.
Finally, we have a much-awaited upgrade to Betrayal League
That's
and a
crazy.
set of quality-of-life improvements.
That's crazy they're doing Betrayal
Then
now.
we'll wrap up by discussing
With
our
Path of
Boss
Exile
Kill
2
race
out.
event, showing you our new supporter packs,
Yeah.
and ending with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Jonathan and I your
As
questions from
always.
Twitch chat.
Yep.
In
Let's
Path
do
of
it.
Exile Secrets of the Atlas,
Delirium?
strange rifts have begun to appear across the Atlas.
Rifts.
Zana has
Greater
returned
rifts.
and appears to be trapped within.
Yeah.
Partway through the endgame, you will meet Egan, an intelligent man of mysterious heritage. These tears in reality he has discovered are actually threads of memory, distorted and made real by the Atlas.
Like the Atlas.
Egan
Memories
is
of the
able to
Atlas.
create a link to these memory threads and open portals to them. Working with Egan, you must step through and find Zana, or
Zana, there
whatever
you go.
remains of her.
That is true.
Okay, so that's the story background, but how does this expansion actually work? In the Secrets of the Atlas, the pursuit of Zana with Egon is a new storyline that is introduced in high-tier maps. Upon meeting Egan and discovering the tier, he will then transfer it to your map device and reveal this
Okay.
on your Atlas.
So you gotta
a
complete
thread
all
of
maps.
memories. In
Oh, so that's how
order
you
to
do
now
the other
access
maps.
Each map on the thread,
That is the
you
reason to do
simply
the other
need
maps.
to talk to Egan when you're ready, and he'll open
locked.
the areas in sequence. These areas can be fully influenced by your Atlas tree, scarabs, fragments, and everything of the sort.
Interesting.
As you work your way along the thread, you will discover that these maps have manifested dangerous threats, influenced by the memories of Zana herself. Monsters here are imbued with memory petals.
Wow, the game's so
Defeat
fast.
them to absorb this power, which can be unleashed as a special ability during
It's so
combat.
zoomed in.
Different maps on the thread have different abilities, and these abilities appear on an additional mini skill bar next to your regular skills.
Okay.
For example, Memory of Disbelief will cause all affected monsters to stop dropping equipment items, meaning they can now only drop more valuable items, like currency and maps. Memory of Panic will
Wow,
make
that's
all
cool.
affected monsters revive immediately after death, which means you can get twice as much experience and drops from them.
Damn. But
And
do you have to
Memory of
activate the
Impatience
skill?
will cause all surrounding enemies to give you their souls, temporarily increasing your power. As you progress further
Power
into the thread of
fantasy.
memories, the maps can have more than one memory, and thus you can have more than one powerful ability.
No,
As
it
you
just
gather memory petals,
the map
you can
itself.
use these powers together. Each skill costs its own amount of memory petals. So using the examples above, you can first use Memory of Impatience to become way more powerful, then use Memory of Panic to prepare
you
them
do
to
have to
revive
use
when they
them.
are slain, then use Memory of Disbelief to cause them
Okay,
to
you
drop
do have to
better,
use it.
more valuable items.
You do have to use it. Gotcha.
Finally, obliterate them all. The Memory of Panic will kick in, causing them to revive.
not the
and then
biggest
wipe
fan
them out again, allowing
of
you
having
to
to
get all the
use,
experience and
skills.
enhanced drops twice.
because again, you gotta kite the
There are
whole
many
map, and
combinations
then
of
you're gonna
these
do it or
powers,
something.
so you'll have to carefully consider how they best work
Unless
together.
the numbers means how many monsters you affect, right?
That's not the only extra layer of content juicing these maps offer. As you defeat the boss of each map along the thread, you are presented with an altar. This altar will apply a modifier to all following maps in the thread,
It's very cool.
and these will stack as you go.
Damn.
So the deeper you delve into a memory, the more mods you will
Okay,
have.
kind of like Delirium map. You
This,
just keep adding to
combined
it.
with the special abilities, will allow for some of the most juice maps ever run in Path of Exile. Let's take a look at some of the altar mods.
Like Path of Exile 1 is so
You are always
exaggerated
presented with
in
two choices
juicing.
and must
It's
pick one.
insane.
This mod, for example, will cause some
Damn.
rare monsters to be possessed by tormented spirits. Where this mod makes Kerak modifiers free to craft. Both of these apply to
Shit.
all subsequent maps in the thread.
Wow.
The final map in each thread is a true challenge, with all the altar mods applying to it and guarded by a powerful boss. Each of these bosses are familiar, but dreamlike, drawn from Zana's memories and warped by the Atlas into something very different.
Okay,
and
so they're
terrifying.
modified. Gotcha.
In this map, you will fight the pinnacle boss, Cirrus. Fueled
Oh,
by Zana's
shit.
affectionate memories of him, his
Good damage,
enhanced
though.
abilities can prove to be a unique challenge. If you manage to defeat Cirrus, or one of the other warped memory bosses, they will drop a map fragment, which Egan can use to delve deeper into the memory tears.
Need all 4, right?
With these, you can access a set of 3 new pinnacle bosses. In this arena, the Moment of Reverence, Zana is reliving a memory of her father, Valdo,
Yeah, I told you,
giving a passionate speech in Oriath.
was her dad.
The
Oh,
Atlas
Valdo, like the
distorts
boxes.
this memory of her father as a powerful, influential man, and manifests those emotions into a
Cool
twisted nightmare,
boss.
the incarnation of dread.
Invincibility. Just dodging stuff, yep.
Another memory created is the incarnation of neglect and the incarnation of fear. Good luck, exiles.
They're pretty strong, eh?
Of course, if you are brave and strong enough to defeat them, each of these new pinnacle bosses have new unique items befitting them. If you slay the incarnation of fear, you might be lucky enough to find the
Starfall.
Starcaller unique abyssal axe. We're gonna show this one because it's straight up badass.
Okay, go ahead.
The Starcaller axe is a
Ooh,
weapon
Cyclone
that
too,
can
man.
harness the power of the stars themselves.
Oh, I miss
to deal
Cyclone so
immense damage.
much.
What makes it shine, however, is that on melee crit, it casts Starfall, a new
Jesus
skill.
Christ.
With the right build, you can carpet entire areas and wipe out screens of
Wow.
enemies
Well,
as
yeah,
you
with
rain down
Cyclone.
the elements upon them.
Looks fucking insane.
Another item you may find, and this one is my favorite, is the Wine of the Prophet unique flask. It consumes a lot of charges,
Divination buff.
but every time you use it, you draw a random divination card. This card appears above you and correlates to a powerful buff.
Wow.
If you draw the Escape card, you'll gain increased movement speed.
That's so
or maybe
cool,
you'll
man.
draw the Doctor, which will cause you to gain the modifiers of slain rares you kill.
Okay, yeah, Headhunter, yeah.
Effectively, you can think of this unique as being many other uniques all in one.
That's crazy.
There are many,
so
many
cool.
cards to draw, each
Per
with
mass,
varying degrees
yeah.
of power to grant.
We need cards in the Path of Exile too.
Okay, but let's get back to the Atlas.
Go ahead.
After defeating all 3 new pinnacle bosses, you'll be able to find new memory-influenced Tier 16 maps.
Jesus Christ.
These maps come with the previously mentioned special abilities and monsters infused with memory petals, but can also roll the same modifiers typically found on Tier 17 maps, making them far more rewarding.
Tier 17, good times.
With all these new memory maps comes a new item mechanic. Items in these maps can drop with memory strands, and will have a random amount, up to 100.
Yeah, I see that.
This does a few things.
Go on.
When you identify the item, it will increase the tiers of modifiers your item has. Generally speaking, the more memory strands, the better the item will be.
Oh, shit.
On top of this, whenever you're crafting that item using currency orbs to replace
down.
or add modifiers, such as alterations, chaos, and so forth, it will consume some memory
Right.
strands to make the crafted mods more powerful. The new pinnacle bosses also drop new crafting currencies,
Of course.
which can be used to manipulate the amount of memory strands on an item. The
So you can
Orb
add
of
to it?
Remembrance will let you add memory strands to any normal equipment. So if you have your perfect base to craft on, and it doesn't already have memory strands, you can add some before crafting.
It's a whole new level of crafting.
Orb of Unraveling will consume all remaining memory strands on an item to randomly upgrade its mod tiers. This orb's
Wow.
effectiveness is based on the number of memory strands it consumes.
Right.
The Orb of Intention can be used on memory influence maps to reduce item drops, but improve the chance to find items with memory strands.
Okay. So you're gonna farm.
In the
yeah.
process of adding these new currency items, we realized something was missing.
What's up?
The Shaper and the Elder did not have their own Exalted Orbs. This has now been rectified. Both bosses now have Exalted Orbs, which can add their influence to an item. Zana was there from the beginning, when the Shaper Pinnacle fight was first added.
Yep.
She helped defeat the Elder, and she was a critical part of the Conqueror's storyline.
What happened to her? Like she
Now,
disappeared,
with
or
all 6
she
influence
turned
types
evil,
having
or
their own
something?
Exalted Orbs, the cycle is complete.
Yep.
It's almost as if we could now do some sort of new, epic, unique item to interact with them. In other news,
Aw, man,
there
what is it?
of course has to be Atlas passive tree support for this
Of
new
course.
in-game content.
Of course. Of
Let's
course.
take a look at a few things we're adding. The Grasp the Past notable passive skill increases the chance for the amount of memory strands on items dropped in your memory influence maps to be lucky.
Yep.
This means it will roll the number of memory strands twice, keeping the highest value.
It's nice.
By allocating traumatic experience, remembered kindness, or educated upbringing, you'll decrease the chance of finding memory threads that lead to specific bosses, meaning you'll have better chances of
target,
finding the
yeah.
memory threads you would like to run.
Yeah.
This is especially useful if you want to target farm a specific boss because of its unique item drops. In sum, the secrets of the Atlas will have you questioning what is real as you attempt to free Zana from warped memories scattered throughout the Atlas. You'll fight new Guardian and Pinnacle bosses tormenting her, find crazy new Pinnacle uniques, combine and unleash memory petal empowered skills, juice maps to new heights, and craft powerful new items. While we were showing
Cool.
all the juicy rewards from the new in-game
Yeah,
system,
gold.
you might have noticed that a lot of gold was dropping.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Gold was introduced during the Settlers of Kalgur expansion.
Best
It
expansion
funded
ever.
the development and
Loved
operations
it.
of King's March.
Such a
Along
good
with
idea.
various new features such as the currency exchange,
I love the Calgarian
the black market,
expedition, whatever it's called. Sorry, the city. The
and the
outpost.
passive respec system
Yeah.
with Faustus.
Yep. All great additions.
Those
But I love the
features offered
upgrading
by
the
Faustus
town.
will be here to stay, along with some of the other services King's March has to offer.
This has to come in Path of
get more
Exile
into that
too.
later,
They should have
but don't
launched with
worry.
this.
King's March has already been completed.
Oh
There
man,
will be
getting
no
upgrades.
more town building. Like before, gold will be used for town services, but we're also adding a new way to use it in the upcoming league.
Yeah.
It's time to talk about Mercenaries
Sure.
of Trathus.
Also, the town is built now.
In this league, you will meet
Cool.
veterans who have traveled all the way from the lawless cities of Trathus. They're ready to offer their sinister services, but not for free. You will
That's where the
encounter
gold
these mercenaries
goes.
as you journey through Rayclast, one in each area.
Okay.
They have their own personalities and come with different builds, skills, and items already equipped.
Is this the guy from Path of Exile
After
2?
meeting them, as per the Trathan Code,
The first giant
they
boss?
will challenge you to a duel, a
The wolf?
test of strength and conviction. Before beginning the duel, you will be offered an overview of the mercenary you've encountered.
Okay.
Here, you can see the gear they have equipped,
What is
the
this? Path
skills
of
they
Exile?
employ,
Sorry, Diablo
and
2?
any support effects augmenting those skills.
Can I hire mercenaries?
You must now make a choice. You can hire their services, take one of their items, or exile them.
Oh.
If you choose to hire them, for a gold cost, they will accompany you as a skilled combatant to assist you in fighting monsters throughout Rayclast.
Forever?
Once you've decided, you can begin the duel. This is a great opportunity to test them, as you don't want to be out of pocket with a useless rookie. However, they're testing you too. They also don't want to be
Interesting.
working for an amateur.
It's a duel.
So, what items might they be using? Generally speaking, mercenary gear is more powerful than what you'd normally find from defeating monsters,
Okay.
as they've been crafting their
Even
items
their
too.
skills.
They can also come equipped with unique items,
You know,
those that would make sense for the skills they are using.
makes sense.
There are even some new unique items that can only be obtained from defeating them. One such unique is Scornflux. These boots combine agility with the mastery of the arcane. While equipped, increases to cast speed from Arcane Surge also apply to movement speed,
Yeah.
which is worth noting is now 20% inherently from Arcane Surge, up from 10.
Okay.
They also grant Arcane Surge when you use a movement skill. This allows for some speedy spellcasters. Sometimes you may meet particularly infamous Trathan mercenaries, bearing the name of their house. These mercenaries descend from the 4 major death trade families in Trathus.
Okay.
They are less common, but have far better items. And they are also the sole source of items with new, infamous modifiers, unseen before in Rayclast, such as these gloves, which convert all of your minions' fire damage to chaos damage. Or this helmet, which causes nearby enemies to take more physical damage as you gain more fortification.
Cool.
If you're not swayed by any of their equipped gear, however, you
Yeah.
can always challenge them for the contents of their pockets. If you lose
Ah,
the duel,
okay.
don't worry. You don't need to give them an item. You aren't bound to Trathan tradition like they are. However, you are
How
bound
convenient.
to Rayclast tradition, so you'll just die.
Almost at me. Well, not really.
While playing in a party, each player can decide whether or not they want to participate in combat against the mercenary. For each player that opts in, the mercenary gets more difficult,
Makes sense.
but if they're defeated, each player has a 50% chance to get a random reward, which is usually currency items from the mercenary's pouch.
Okay. Ah, scarabs. Good times.
Alternatively, party members that opt out of the fight can spectate and cheer you on. Or they might wish for your demise,
Ooh,
so they
divine.
can pick up that allocated divine waiting off screen.
Dead. Good.
Let's say you won the duel, like their items, and have decided to hire them. What combat
Yeah.
skills do they bring to the table?
And they last forever again.
Each mercenary has an archetype. Here, this mercenary is an eruptor,
Again, this is Diablo
which
2 basically.
perfectly couples with my slower, more aura-focused Scion. This mercenary is highly aggressive, and will get a lot of benefit from the auras and buffs I provided.
Oh crap! So you don't need like another party member. You can be the aura bot.
When I'm playing a more
You're a
aggressive
mercenary.
character myself, though,
You want
I
an
want a
aura bot.
mercenary with a bit more resilience and utility. I've just run into a striker, who can spawn with Vigilant Strike. And if you're lucky, a very rare golden support that causes the fortify granted by his Vigilant Strike to
Damn.
apply to me as well.
Yeah, so you get like
He
an
will
extra
also
skill,
frequently use Enduring Cry,
basically, or
taunting
2
enemies
3
off of
skills.
and operating as a tanky frontline while I blitz off damage from the back.
Yep.
Sometimes when you fight a mercenary, you may notice the skills they're using are different from normal. For example, this sniper is using a Trathan version of Siege Ballista. If you're lucky, you will be able to select it as your reward when challenging them. Then defeat them, and they'll drop the Trathan gem as
crap,
promised.
you get like unique
You can
skills
only
as
have
well.
one mercenary accompanying you at a time,
Right.
but up to 3 total in your service.
Oh, okay, cool.
The other 2 will wait patiently in town. Having
Nice.
varied options is useful, as there may be
So
situations
again,
where you need specific
they...
backup, like a difficult
Now you
boss
got
fight.
mercenaries.
Any of your mercenaries you have active, or in your reserves, can have their equipment replaced with items of your choosing.
Damn, that's crazy.
They don't level up, so you will want to be looking out for more skilled and more powerful mercenaries as you
Right.
advance through the campaign and endgame.
Right.
If your mercenary falls in combat, you will need to return to town and spend some gold on healing supplies to get them back on their feet.
Not bad.
Then perhaps
Oh, it's
consider giving
crazy
them
you
some
can upgrade
upgrades,
them though.
if you think it's deserved. I just wanted to clarify, mercenaries do not lose their equipment when defeated.
That's great.
If your merc buddy consistently fails you, you can just dismiss them and find a new, more resilient ally.
Yeah, mercenaries in Path of Exile. There you go.
You walk your path, I'll walk
Some of those skills are locked through some of those items.
Earlier, I mentioned you could exile mercenaries.
Yeah, what does that mean?
If you keep running into a mercenary
They never
archetype
show
and
up
you
again.
think,
Yeah.
man, this guy
It's kinda
stinks.
like,
the gear is trash and they have no auras. You can then choose to exile them.
Kind of like what you would do
If
with
you win the
Betrayal.
duel, they'll be forced to leave with their tail between their legs.
Yeah.
And you
Betrayal,
won't
you can do
encounter
the
that
same
archetype
thing.
again for a while. Now, alongside these new Trathan arrivals, we shouldn't forget about the recent Kalgurin ones too.
This should be in Path of Exile
As we
too.
mentioned earlier, the Settlers update introduced gold-based respeccing of passive points. You can now do so by talking to a number of NPCs throughout Rayclast, starting with Bestil and Lionized Watch.
That's good.
Black market item gambling, previously just available in Kingsmarch, is now available in each town at the same NPC. This lets you buy randomly generated item bases for gold.
Yep.
Very useful if you're stuck for upgrades or searching for a specific unique. The currency exchange will be returning too. Starting from Lionized Watch in Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus, who can help facilitate these trades. Now, after almost a year of building, Johan is finally satisfied with the upgrades made to the town. And now its services
Still got
can
the
be used
portals.
to their full effect. Kingsmarch is going core, but there will be no more town building. As you start running maps in the endgame, you'll start to find different ore veins,
Yeah.
which Kalgurin workers can mine for you.
Right.
The shipping mechanic invites you to send these ores and crops
they still got
to
that.
Karui and Kalgurin ports,
Yeah.
and they'll return rewards in kind.
Right.
By sending shipments, you'll receive different items, but by sending to Karui ports, you will also receive tattoos, which can be used on your passive tree to
Yep, we
change
know
what
that.
stats they grant.
Yeah.
The Kalgurin ports will be sending back rune grafts, which is a new passive tree mechanic that replaces the runesmithing service previously offered by the town. These are similar to tattoos, but instead of replacing stat nodes,
That's
they
pretty
replace
cool.
a passive tree mastery node. For example, Runegraft of the Bound reduces bonuses gained from boots, but increases bonuses gained from gloves. Runegraft of the River has a chance to recover your life to full if you reach low life.
That's crazy.
And the Runegraft of Time, which has a chance for your
This is
cooldown
also
skills
cool.
to instantly recover from their cooldown.
This is also nice.
Which I will note includes cooldowns on your triggers, just in case you wanted to trigger even more spells. There are many other rune grafts which cover a wide range of different builds and stats. Some are more common and others rarer. You can only use one of a given type at a time, but you can use them on any mastery on your passive tree,
Right.
which can be particularly useful for off-class investment.
Right.
Isla has continued to make modifications to the Recombinator. She has developed a new method of recombination that you may recognize from Path of Exile 2. For those
Yeah.
unfamiliar, this method allows you
Yeah.
to decide which modifiers on the 2 input items you want to try merge together, and it has a
7%.
success chance you can see. This method can result in the items being destroyed. However, it is a good option to use when trying to create items with fewer mods to use as crafting projects. Given the existing recombinating mechanic was very powerful for top-end crafting, we didn't want to remove it. We have kept it, and you can now choose to use it the old way or the new way. By letting fate decide, it will combine the two items randomly. There is no risk of destroying either item, but it will be less predictable.
Cool. Yeah, options are good. The more the better.
As Settlers is now a core mechanic, we've also added Atlas passive tree support.
Oh, nice.
For example, if you wanted to gather more Verisium ore, you could take this notable.
Right.
Each ore has a similar node.
Man, I played the
Refiner's
fuck out of
Bargain
this
converts
league.
items dropped
Good
by
times.
possessed monsters into thaumaturgic dust, sulfite
yeah.
into random ores, and life force into random crops. We've also added a set of Kalguran scarabs,
Makes sense.
so you can add more ore deposits, increase the rarity of monsters that guard ore deposits to at least magic, or gather smelted bars from ore you mark instead of ores.
It's nice.
To sum it all up, Kingsmarch is now a thriving town where you can employ a swath of workers to collect resources, refine ores, craft items,
So you still gotta buy workers. It's
And
your
run maps
town
for
is
you.
maxed basically.
send shipments of resources in exchange for
Your
tattoos
town's
and rune
maxed,
grafts,
and you just
using
move from
those to
there.
modify your passive tree to an extent never seen before. Following on from that, we've also made a
Yeah,
substantial
Betrayal.
rework to another important mechanic.
Which was a very complicated league.
As a refresher, and
Very
to explain to new
complicated.
players, let's briefly explain what Betrayal is.
Yeah, good luck.
Betrayal is a mechanic introduced in Act 9 and tells the story of Jun Ortoi and her investigation of the Immortal Syndicate. This is a mysterious group of exiles who can seemingly come back from death.
Good times.
You must help Jun to uncover their leader, the Syndicate Mastermind. The Immortal Syndicate is organized into 4 divisions: transportation, fortification,
Even up to this day, I
research,
still
and
not too sure
intervention.
this works. I
As
just
you
select the
encounter
options
the
as I
Immortal
go.
Syndicate members, you'll gain intelligence for each of these divisions to discover the location of their leaders, tracking them to their safe houses. Defeating the division leaders at their safe houses will reward you with intelligence on the Syndicate Mastermind.
Oh, just max them out
In
then.
your journey to track
Oh,
down
just
the
max them
Syndicate
out and
leader,
hopefully everything
you'll
turns out
manipulate the
fine.
members of the Immortal Syndicate to change divisions,
Make sure you end up like
form
3
friendships
stars
and
at the top, you
rivalries,
know?
and even banish them from the Syndicate for a time.
Yep. Just like the current league.
Historically, after encountering and defeating the Syndicate Mastermind,
Right.
the state of the Immortal Syndicate would reset,
Right.
requiring you to start from the beginning of the investigation again. This has always been a difficult decision for players and can often feel bad. Do you fight the Mastermind for a chance at the special loot, or keep farming the safe houses that you've spent so long setting up?
True.
Well, in the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've split out the Mastermind to be completely separate from the core mechanic.
Oh.
The boss is now accessible through a new fragment that has a
Gotcha.
chance to drop from the safe house leaders at high levels. The Mastermind no longer resets the state of the Immortal Syndicate. You can now build your Betrayal board to your liking, optimize
And
it,
keep it there.
do Mastermind fights, and reap the rewards without having to lose all
Okay,
your
they
progress
haven't
every time.
modified too much of it though.
The boss fight itself has also been improved, now with significantly fewer immunity phases
Oh,
and new
nice.
rewards.
Good.
By the way, if you're a new player to Path of Exile 1, don't worry about
good
all this
luck.
detail.
Good luck.
This content is optional, and you can discover and engage with it at your own
Yeah,
pace.
exactly. Good luck with that.
The Mastermind still has a chance to drop a Veiled Orb, now renamed to Veiled Exalted Orb. Veiled Chaos Orbs are being re-added to other safe house leaders. In addition, the Mastermind now drops the new All Flame Embers. All
is
Flame Embers
this?
are map fragments that replace monster packs and in-game maps with different types of special monsters. These
Oh,
packs
like
have
the
unusual
frogs?
properties, compositions, or rewards. For example, you might use the All Flame Ember of Kulamak, which replaces packs with Syndicate monsters and their leaders, who revive after the map boss has been slain. This
Wow.
might at first sound annoying due to backtracking, but these monsters when revived are far more intense and rewarding.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
It is our intention with All Flames to provide many different types that combine with other mechanics, multiplying with your existing modifiers in new and interesting ways. Another good example of this is the All Flame Ember of Propagation. When slain, special rare monsters added by this All Flame here will spread their modifiers to other rare monsters in the map.
Sounds difficult.
This can be useful when trying to create singular, very powerful, and very rewarding monsters.
Right.
Something akin to meat sacks, which are making a reinvented comeback with this update too. Another is the All-Flame Ember of Resplendence, which adds monsters that drop no items. But when you slay them, you get buff stacks of increased quantity and rarity to enhance the drops of all other monsters.
You gotta go fast.
All-Flame Embers can be placed in your map device like scarabs, and used in conjunction with scarabs to further customize your maps.
Jesus Christ.
We're looking forward to seeing which combinations players find to
Customization
enhance
and
their
juicing
maps.
is off the charts.
Perhaps you'll use all scarabs, all flames, or maybe mix and match. It's up to you. The Mastermind's unique items have also been improved. The veiled modifiers generated on these items are now from a custom pool exclusive to those uniques.
Oh, nice.
Bitterbind Point, for example, can now have various Spectre-specific outcomes.
Crazy.
Such as +1 additional Spectre.
Yep.
Aside from improved rewards from the Mastermind, all the safe house rewards have also been rebalanced. We've done a pass on the crafting sprees at the end of many safe houses. For those who aren't aware how these crafting sprees work, well, it's simple.
You have a lot more
There's
time,
a crafting bench with an item in it, and a bunch of currency. There's a limited amount of time, and your only objective is to craft the best item possible before the time ends. One of the problems that the crafting sprees have is that they often require you to have specific items on hand in order to best maximize your result.
Correct, yeah.
But how are you supposed to know that beforehand? In order to solve this, most of the crafting sprees now offer pre-generated items. This has also allowed us to add much more powerful crafting options in each spree. Let's take a look at a few examples. In this spree, a randomly generated amulet or ring will be waiting for you. Test your crafting skill or luck with this reflecting
That's
mist
crazy, though.
crafting spree,
Yeah, I got
and
you.
see if you can create something worthy of Kalandra's praise.
Damn, reflection mist. Holy shit.
And in this spree, you will find a pre-generated unique item, and a new kind of orb that resembles a Val orb, but not quite the same. Normally, you can only corrupt an item once,
Yeah.
but uniques in this spree can be corrupted and re-corrupted as many times as there are orbs.
Okay. Got you.
This orb also allows you to get 2 corrupted implicits, and has a much lower chance to brick the item.
Damn.
It can be a very useful tool for seeking specific corrupted implicit outcomes.
That's crazy.
Of course, if you push your luck, you can still ruin the item. There are also crafting sprees where you still need to provide an item, but those items are generally more accessible and it occurs less frequently.
Okay, got you. That's pretty nice.
This one allows you to bring your own normal rarity item. Then just go ballistic with a whole ton of scouring orbs and orbs of chance, hoping to get your ideal unique. For
Oh,
most
that's
sprees,
sick, though.
the rank of the syndicate member
Get your mage
increases the
blood,
amount
you know?
of currency provided, the quality of the pre-generated items, and the time allowed to craft your item.
Right.
Aside from the crafting sprees, there are other new options too. If you love gambling for currency, how about you try opening Varici's Emperor's Luck chests? These work just like the Emperor's Luck divination card and provide full stacks of currency. If you're lucky enough,
Mirrors.
unlike me,
20
you
mirrors.
could end up with a whole lot of divines.
20 mirrors.
Betrayal is a good source of veiled items. Veiled items have some important quality of life improvements in this expansion too.
No, that's nice.
All of the crafting bench options normally granted by unveiling items are instead now moved to the core game, so you don't need to run Betrayal to unlock them.
Oh, that's good.
They are instead found at the entrances to boss rooms and in-game maps. On top of that, you no longer need to speak to Jun to unveil items. You can just right-click them,
That's
or
great.
the equivalent on gamepad, and select which veiled modifier you want to unveil.
That's awesome. Good.
Overall, Betrayal is now much more streamlined and more rewarding. Happy interrogations.
Shut up!
I mean, again, I still don't understand how the system works with who gets what safe house, and you gotta look online what
Now,
each
before
of them
we get
means,
into our
but
quality of life
still.
additions, let's
it's
quickly
a lot
talk
better.
about some character balance. We will be doing our regular character balance changes, where we are bringing outliers in line to help evolve the meta, but we are also focusing our attention on buffing some specific things. This includes spellcasting supports that specifically enhance self-casting builds, channeled spells, adding new
A lot of
options to the
information.
Guardian, Berserker, Elementalist,
Random
Saboteur,
shrine buff every
and
10
Champion
seconds?
Ascendancy
That's
classes,
crazy.
which includes some favorites from some of the alternate
Oh,
classes
man.
from Legacy of Freesia,
Hey, isn't that like the
and
ring?
buffing a whole bunch of transfigured gems that never really
The
hit
crazy
the mark.
ring, the randomly.
Combined with the new in-game crafting,
Random
improved betrayal
projectiles?
crafting options, rune graphs for your passive tree, new pinnacle unique items, new modifiers and Trathan gems from the mercenaries.
They've been cooking.
And of course the mercenaries themselves to act as an extension to your
They've been
character.
cooking.
It's safe to say there's a lot of new character options and builds to think about. Instead of delving into
These
all
are my
of these in
first
more
two
detail,
builds. What are
we
the
figured we'd just
chances?
let you absorb them through the patch notes,
Witch Hunter
so you
and
can do
Monk
it at
of
your own
Chayula
pace.
there. What the
In the
hell?
Secrets of the Atlas expansion,
Wow, what are the
we've also
chances?
added a lot of the quality of life features that we know you've all been
Those are
asking
my
for.
first two builds in Path of Exile
A
2.
lot
That's
of these have already
crazy.
been posted, but let's
Like
take a look
endgame,
now in
you know?
case you missed any. You can now pause the game at any time by pressing escape to open the
Oh,
menu,
nice. Just like Path of
or
Exile
by
2.
opening any full-screen interface, like the passive tree. You'll also be paused if any lag is detected or if you disconnect.
That's amazing.
It's worth noting that in certain pinnacle arenas, a debuff will be applied to you that
Yeah, you
prevents
can do
from
it.
pausing.
Yeah. Same in Path of Exile 2, yeah.
We're also making a change to how you use currency items on strongboxes
Just like
and
Path of
monsters
Exile
imprisoned
2.
in essences.
Yep.
Based
I
on
wish
the
they would
currency in
link
your
these to,
inventory
like, the
and
stash,
the state of the
though.
strongbox, these buttons will appear. Valuable
They
currency
need
like
to link
divine
this to the
orbs
stash
have been
box.
excluded from this as it would often be
stash.
wasteful to use in this context.
Yeah.
The same applies to essences with the remnant of corruption currency. Orbs of Horizon have been updated. They can now re-roll your Elder and Conqueror Guardian maps.
Sick.
Doing
That's
so will
nice.
re-roll the base map and
Yeah.
the Guardian of that map.
That's really good, though.
The map device now has a small additional inventory. This is particularly useful if you're rolling many maps to
that's
run
so
in
cool.
sequence, or if you want to use varying amounts of scarabs or other map fragments.
That's nice.
During breach encounters,
But you're gonna have to,
all
like,
the
look at your
splinters will
stash
be
every 2
automatically
seconds.
collected and dropped at the end of the breach.
That's such a great change from Path of
On
Exile 2.
gamepads, we have separated the targeting of monsters and non-monsters, so you are able to target them independently.
Okay.
This removes a bunch of frustration when you are trying
Man,
to
the
interact
UI
with
is
objects
so
in the
weird
world
with a
and monsters are
gamepad.
nearby.
Holy shit.
You no longer have to kill all of them first. Vendor windows will now remember your last search. This is remembered until you log out and is remembered on a per NPC basis.
Okay, got you.
The amount of characters you can type in the search field has also been increased.
Nice.
When using currency items, after right-clicking them, it will highlight all other items which that currency can
Like
be used.
Path of Exile 2, great change.
There are many other quality of life improvements, so keep an eye on the patch notes after this livestream concludes. Alongside the launch of Secrets of the Atlas, we are hosting a competitive event where players will race to be the first to kill the new pinnacle bosses. The event will take place in the hardcore, solo
hardcore.
self-found Mercenaries
Oh
of
my
Trathan
god.
League. We have some interesting prizes in store for the
Hardcore
winners.
SSF.
Keep an eye on the
Forget
news
it.
in the lead up to launch for more details about how the event will work and what its prizes are. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
As always.
The Frisian Magistrate and Crypt Keeper packs.
Let's see them.
Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Frisian Magistrate series of supporter packs contains
Groot.
6 exclusive microtransactions. The Frisian Magistrate character effect will bind your character in thorny vines and roses. You can select which parts of the character you want to have covered. Either your entire body, your lower body, or your upper body.
Yeah.
As you approach waypoints, it will emit leaves and golden petals towards it.
It's
When
nice.
activating the waypoint, it will create a burst around you.
Nice.
Envelop your weapon in thorny vines and golden flora with the Frisian Magistrate weapon effect. Your weapon will also create a trail to match as you swing, and even comes with its own hit effect when slaying enemies. You are the law while wearing the armor of the powerful Frisian Grand Magistrate. The Spider Blossom pet activates its defense mechanism, disguising it as an elegant flower when near rare or unique enemies.
Cool.
The Frisian Imperial Magistrate back attachment comes in 2 forms.
Like a
Equip
shield.
either the Tombstone variant, which will leave tombstones in your
Tombstone.
honor when you
Oh,
meet your
shit.
demise,
Cool.
or equip the Cape variant to cause the corpses of slain enemies to become enveloped in rose-thorn vines and blossom with golden flowers.
You can kind of see it, I guess.
Keep track of how well, or poorly, your ultimatums with the Trial
Hey,
Master
isn't this
have gone
from
with the
Path of
Trials
Exile
Chaos
2?
hideout
The
decoration.
altar with a
It will
heart?
keep track of the total number of waves completed, the total number of ultimatums succeeded, or even failed. On top of that, it will track the
0.
total number of times you've defeated the Trial Master himself. The Crypt Keeper Pack series also contains 6
Jesus.
exclusive microtransactions.
That's a portal.
With the Crypt Keeper finisher effect, death itself will tear through into the realm of the living and steal the soul of slain unique enemies.
Cool.
The Crypt Keeper portal effect creates a gateway for lost souls to pass through.
Right this way, sir. Okay, bye.
Become the true master of the undead by wearing the hallowed Crypt Keeper
Love it.
armor set. It comes with a more armored helmet variant and a creepy mask with a spectral hood.
Creepy mask. True.
Looking to have some fun during idle time in your hideout?
Oh
The
my
Burrowing
god.
Bramble Bash hideout decoration will test your reaction speed
That's
as
crazy.
you try to whack as many devourer heads as
Whack-a-mole, you know?
possible in the shortest time.
Yeah.
It also comes with a scoreboard, so you can try to set new records to show off to your friends or just visitors coming to trade. Equip yourself
Whole
with
ass
the ghostly
mini game,
dead
you know?
as you ride the line between the
I love
living
it.
and the dead with the sacred Crypt Keeper back attachment.
Great. Yeah.
The Sacred Archives map device resembles
That's
a magical
insane.
library with the works of scholars that come to life when you
It's
open a map.
massive.
This map device tracks how many of each core league
So
you've completed
big.
in in-game maps.
Oh, that's cool though. It's really big though. You gotta like
These
go
packs
around.
are now
for the
available for
portals.
purchase on both PC and console, and will remain so during Path of Exile, Mercenaries of Trathus.
Looks great.
Additionally, any microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Paladin and Penance packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Mercenaries of Trathus League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Additionally, the Dawn of the Hunt mystery box will be made available for Path of Exile 1. If you have already unlocked any microtransactions from this box in Path of Exile 2,
Oh.
you will of course immediately have access to them in
Yeah,
Path
the
of
boss.
Exile
I
1.
was wondering.
Thank you so much for your
And
ongoing
the
support.
quadrillas. Okay, well, that's a lot to take in. I haven't played Path of Exile 1, like I said, since Settlers of Kalgur, I think, and I absolutely love that league. The fact that, you know, you had the gold introduced, you could upgrade your town, and I always said in Path of Exile 2, like, we need a, you need to spend your gold on something. There's nothing in PoE 2 that allows you to spend golds the same way it was in Settlers, right? And then they introduced the mystery boxes that you gotta use gold on them. I haven't found one yet, I'm just hearing about it. But still, I currently in Path of Exile 2, I think I have like 4 million gold and I'm not spending on anything. I could gamble, but not a huge fan of that. So let's see what I took as notes here. Path of Exile 2 in August, that's very far away. Holy crap. So is Path of Exile 2 every 4 months instead of every 3 months? Which is fine, it gives like more time to work on stuff. But I'm really looking forward to see what Path of Exile 2 has for me. I'm more interested in Path of Exile 2 than 1. I feel like, you know, once that 2 came out, I was done with 1. Like, I'm not going back to 1. I don't think so. Even though I really miss Cyclone, and I know that most likely in Path of Exile 2, once Cyclone is introduced, it's gonna have like a cooldown or something stupid, or like they're gonna nerf it, you know. But man, Path of Exile 1 looks so different. The animations, the graphics, the speed of the game, it's crazy, right? But once I saw Cyclone in action, I'm like, oh shit, man, I can feel it, you know. Path of Exile 1, it's kind of like funny because you look at this and you can see how complete of a game Path of Exile 1 is compared to Path of Exile 2, in the sense that the game is done and now you're just adding and refining like all these crazy ass mechanics. When in Path of Exile 2, it's kind of like, okay, well, we're still missing like story chapters if people even want them, because now the story takes too long, and I don't even know what's going on with that, you know. The new Atlas, Endgame Atlas, Secrets of the Atlas, gives you a reason to do the new maps, because, you know, in Path of Exile 1, you had your map, and you just run the same map over and over and over and over again. It was your favorite map, you kept on dropping it, you just run the same map over and over again. There's some maps, I did them like once, and I just stuck to my maps. So that's like a new reason of, you know, doing like new maps, and that's what they also did in Path of Exile 2. They don't want people playing the same map over and over again. Path of Exile 2 with the Atlas, the way you move through the Atlas, you gotta do different types of maps. Even Veil Foundry. And in this one, they're like, you know what? You're not obligated to do what we're telling you to do, but it's in your best intention to do so. You know, like if you want like great loot, like do these maps instead. You know, in Path of Exile 2, it's like you gotta do the map if you want to advance. I really miss Cyclone. I wrote that down. Once I saw it in action, I'm like, fuck, that looks so good. I played a ton of Cyclone. It's my favorite skill in the game. Settlers to regular league, that's a great idea. Like I said, I feel like Path of Exile 2 should have launched with Settlers. I feel like it's a whole new game, and I remember the Settlers League. Just if I was like, well, I don't feel like logging into Path of Exile today, then I'll tell myself, well, what about your town upgrades? You gotta get those workers moving, you know. You gotta get those workers mining and stuff, you know. They yearn for the mines, you know. So you gotta like get them going. And then I will log in. You got the settlers running this. You got the workers doing their stuff. And then at the same time, you're running maps because you're in the game and you want to play the game. I feel like Settlers was a great way of keeping you engaged with the game. And then Path of Exile 2 has none of that. Like, why am I logging into Path of Exile 2 to do maps? And that's it. So hopefully Settlers will get to PoE 2 one day. The revamp and betrayal, I was thinking they would do something like a lot more simpler with how the whole what kind of safe house you're getting, with what kind of like leader you have, at what number of stars, and etc. etc. But no, they kept that intact. They're just not resetting it, and they had some it's almost kind of like a crafter's paradise, like the new options they showed. It looks really good. Customizing and juicing is off the charts compared to Path of Exile 2. 100% agreed. I mean, at this point, it's like you got your cake, you got your cherry on top, and you got your gold pile on top of the cherry, and you got your gold, and you got your diamonds on top of the gold pile, and you got your Ferrari on top of the diamonds, and you got your mansion on top of the Ferrari. Like they just keep adding to the juicing and the power fantasy non-stop, which is it's again you can see how complete the game is because they're able to do all that. I mean, like the juicing is insane. You got like the new fragments, the new was it the fire thing to add? Like it's absolutely insane, man. You can do some crazy ass maps with this. Plus tier 17 maps, like it has to be insane. And of course, you got some Path of Exile 2 changes brought to Path of Exile 1, such as pausing the game. And if you guys remember back in the day when Path of Exile 2 said they're allowing people to pause the game, people like freaked out. People are gonna pause the game. They're gonna see what the bosses are doing. They're gonna see how it works. And I was worried too. I was like, "Oh, that's such a stupid idea." I agree. But now that I have it live, it's like, "Oh yeah, no, this is great. This is absolutely amazing." Like, I want to go to the bathroom. I just pause the game. Press escape, pause. You want to type something in chat? Press P. Bring up the passive tree. Type your shit. It's so much better. It's crazy. And those pinnacle bosses, they remove the pause, which even there I don't think it would change anything because I never paused in a boss battle to see what's coming up next or whatever. You just do it live. So yeah, Path of Exile 1, incredible changes. I mean, again, if you're a fan of this game or you want to play like a really complete game, uh, which again, if you start with Path of Exile 2 and you want to move to Path of Exile 1, I don't know if that's a good idea. The game is very complex, very complicated, but it's absolutely amazing. If you know what you're doing, the game itself is it's like a drug basically. You get into it. It's one of the few games that I can play for hours and like I'm not getting bored. I'm playing for like 6 hours straight, and I'm like I want to do more. I want to do more maps. I'm like right into it. It's such an amazing feeling. Anyways, thank you for watching. Peace.